Hello, everyone, and welcome to our reading today. We are using Learning Tarot cards, and we are doing a collective reading. So let's take a look and see what it is that you are meant to see or know. Something interesting about these cards, I'll tell you. I pull a tarot card every day, and I should probably videotape it, but every morning when I pull a card, the card that I had the day before always falls out first. Like I always know it's going to. Like it's just like one of those like I know it's going to and it does. But it's just like spirit letting me know that, good morning kind of thing. How are you? Um but I can shuffle and sure enough that card will fall out. Sometimes it'll fall out the with the card that's um that I'm meant to have for today as well. So it's kind of like a it'll show me like where the energy is just kind of following through. But it's just an interesting thing that I thought I would share that happens to me. If you have anything interesting like that that happens to you, let me know in the comments. I know one time I was doing a reading for my mother. Uh, it was quite a few years ago, and she was like, "Oh, whatever, okay, do a reading, whatever." And so I did actually, to be honest, it was with Archangel Raphael healing cards. That was the deck that I used because she was it was this deck because she was having some health problems, and I was like, well, let's pull you some guidance to see, what the message is for your health. And she was kind of like, whatever, Tony, whatever you want to do. So so I pulled the cards, right? There were seven cards, and we looked at the message and everything, and it was all about, you got to love yourself, care about yourself, make changes, the stuff that she didn't want to hear. So I was like, well, let's put it back in, try it again, see how it, see what else you get. So I put all the cards back in different places in the deck, right? Shuffled, 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 shuffled. As I was shuffling, they just was falling out on their own. Turned them over. They weren't in the same order. They were in different orders, but we had the exact same seven cards. And then she just kind of sat there and she just like stared. And she said, "How'd you do that?" I said, "I didn't do anything. Like you saw me shuffling the cards. I didn't do anything. Like this is definitely your message. You need to seriously pay attention to what these cards are saying. I think, you're being guided to how to help yourself and like you got to make this choice. You got to make these decisions. You got to do this action. But it was so funny because I'll never forget that because literally like it was the exact same cards just in a different order. They were differently. They weren't in the order that they had first came out in, but it still basically said the exact same thing as well. So it was interesting. So anyways, looking at your reading, we have the 2 of cups. So partnership, unity, love, compatibility, happy couples, potential soulmates, relationships, harmony, balance, equality, attraction, connection, proposals, engagements, marriage, mutual respect. So basically, you are protected. You are divinely protected by the Almighty. Right? You've got this lion energy coming in, this leader, this protector. Right? Whatever is coming in for you, it is going to be balanced. So you might have needed to work on yourself. Maybe you needed to heal parts of you so that you were able to bring in a more healed relationship. Lower vibrations bring in people that mirror you. So if you don't love yourself and you're struggling with who you are in self-love, sometimes that will show up in the relationships that you have, in the people that you surround yourself with, because there's we often will mirror each other. We will often show each other what we see or don't see, or what we want or don't want, right? So you may have been working through a lot. For some of you, I feel like this is a marriage and you're being divinely protected and you're being guided on this path. For others, I instantly feel like these are siblings, and like there's like maybe like a love that needs to be repaired between you, and the divine is working on that energy as well. So for some of you, it can be relationship. For others, it can be loving yourself. This could be like, like reflection kind of energy, taking time to love yourself. But you're going to be more aligned with people that are truly meant to be in your life to bring you peace, harmony, and love. So people who want to bring you drama, want to bring you uh, tower moments, gossip, want to wear masks, want to be fake, those people are not going to be able to be in your energy. No more. You have asked for love. You have wanted love. You're tired of the energy that does not serve your highest good in your heart space. And because of that, a lot of things are going to change with people in your energy. You're going to have a lot of people shifting out so that what you do want is coming in. And you're going to have the clarity. You're going to understand why these people are leaving. You're going to have, it says, new ideas, new plans, intellectual ability, right? Victorious success, breakthroughs. So you're going to have clarity as to why these people are leaving, as to why certain things you didn't see before you're seeing now. And that is, because you're being given the discernment of what you need to do from this step forward. Where do you need to go? How do you want to get there? Right? You're getting the clarity within you as to what serves your highest good and what makes you happy. You're learning from all of this. Uh, Maybe like you might have allowed situations to take place. Like maybe you knew that people were very dramatic. You knew that they were users or abusers. That um, they didn't love themselves. They weren't healthy people, right? Maybe you saw this. You knew this. You were able to identify it. But maybe they were family, friends, people you worked with. And so you just kind of like stayed away or kept them at a distance or just accepted that that was who they were. But you allowed them to still kind of like be in your energy when they came around or whatever. But this is saying that, now that you love yourself and you're showing up for yourself and you're taking time to heal yourself, you no longer are going to resonate with this energy. So if somebody comes to your house to visit and they start talking about, how they like this person or that person, or and if you can feel, you'll be able to feel that karmic energy and that drama energy, and you'll be able to have this discernment of whether or not you really want to be around that person. Right? You might decide that this person no longer needs to come to your house and visit you anymore, that you're just, doesn't make that person a bad person. It just means that like you're no longer wanting to be in that frequency of entertainment and involvement, right? Or if you're at work, you might realize that on your lunch break or something, you no longer want to entertain that kind of energy. Maybe you go out and sit in your car and just be by yourself for a while because you don't want to be around that drama or that just, energy that just isn't you anymore, right? You want to be in an energy that's uplifting, loving, healing, inspiring, and you just no longer want to be taking part in that lower kind of gossiping style energy, right? So you're going to get clarity over a lot of things. You're going to see where you need to go, what you want to do, how you want to change your life. You're going to get an understanding of who is for you and who's against you. You're going to get an understanding of your own inner wanting and desires and how you want to change your life for the better and how you want to make everything work out in a more balanced energy for you. So you will be going through some pain, right? But we always do, whether it's our own pain or pain from an outside energy or, it's that is a part of life. And this pain can be anything from, it could be from betrayal, heartbreak, things that, but I feel like you're going to work through this. It might be something that hurts you, but at the same time, like releasing pain, overcoming depression, optimist forgiveness. I feel like you've already done this. Like you've already set with what you don't know yet, or what you haven't really grieved yet, but you're kind of like you're already aware that decisions, behaviors, whatever people have done to you, whether you know, don't know, you have already come to an understanding that these people are these people, or these choices are their choices, and you've healed from the things that you have done, and you're you're going to transition through this okay. And another thing that I'm getting right now really big is that once this clarity hits you here, right? And you start allowing all these things to happen and all these people to fall away from you, and you just start walking away because you see what kind of people they are, and you're no longer going to allow that in your energy and be a part of your life. These people are going to be the ones that are going to experience what it's like to not have your love, your affection, your attention, your energy anymore. They're going to see what it feels like to close the door on a relationship that was very healthy and very giving and kind. And so these people are also going to experience their own set of pain because you are also setting healthy boundaries, and you're also accepting their choices versus trying to argue or take control of the situation, right? You are not the kind of person that's going to come in and tell people that they have to behave this, and this way. You are the type of person where you're going to be an observer. You're like an observer energy, especially right now with all the transformation that you're taking and you're having. And so you're going to observe this and these people. You're going to observe their choices, their behaviors, their actions, and then you're going to remove yourself from these situations, right? Like this says, removal, right? Separation. You're going to remove yourself from a lot of this. You're going to realize that you deserve better and that the universe is trying to bring in better for you. And therefore, when you do that, it's going to cause a tower moment because these people, they're not going to be ready for this. They're going to be used to the person who, listens and cooperates and doesn't say no, and is a, like, I don't want to say a pushover, but someone that they just always figured you'd always be there, and they could just treat you however they wanted to. And now you're like, no, I'm done. You're no. I don't want any parts of this. I'm changing my life. I'm moving on to better. I don't want any parts of any of this immature, childish behavior, whatever it is, drama, whatever's going on, whatever the person wants to do. And that's going to cause a tower moment. That's going to cause these people to get really upset with you because maybe the things that they're trying to do aren't working, right? Maybe what they thought that was going to happen, it isn't going to happen now. You're putting your foot down and you're changing the whole structure of things, and they were kind of used to you being where you were doing what you were doing, and them having like full control over how the situation was or how you were treated. And this could be anywhere from family, friends, a boss, like it can be any of that energy, right? But by you walking away, you're creating, by you choosing yourself, loving yourself, allowing the universe to clear out things and give you clarity on everything, you're creating pain within yourself because these are trauma bonds, or they could be, any kind of like friendship contract kind of things, what they call like soul contracts, things like that. It could be any kind of that. And of course you're going to have pain there because there was friendship, there was trust, there was love. But as you continue to choose yourself, regardless of how bad the pain is, you're going to heal from it because you're not by yourself. You have spirit with you, so you're going to heal from all of this. But you're going to cause them to have this unexpected emotional experience, which is going to cause a tower moment in the whole situation. But you don't have anything to worry about because you have the Ace of Pentacles coming in for you. So you are making good decisions right now. You are choosing a new beginning. You are choosing yourself. In this card here, you have said enough is enough. I choose myself. I no longer have to follow anybody's rules over my life. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing my happiness, my peace, my own path of living, right? And because you are choosing this, because you're saying yes to you, yes to you, yes to you, no to no, no to no, no to no, right? And yes to loving yourself and bringing love into into your life and into your home and things as much as possible, you are coming into balance and you're bringing in prosperity. And prosperity, again, it is not just about money. I know a lot of people, they see the pentacles and they instantly think, "Oh, money, money, I want to get rich." This isn't always about getting rich. It isn't always about, I know I see it all the time where people instantly, yes, you could get money from this. It is possible that, the universe will open doors for you. Maybe your business will take off, or your new career will take off, or something will happen financially and you will come out ahead. But don't just focus on excuse me, don't just focus on money with this card. Prosperity comes in all forms, right? You can have a spiritual elevation of understanding things on a higher spiritual level. You can have a self-healing that resets yourself and it's like a rebirth of who you are. You can have new ideas, new ways to make your life happy. You New friends, right, can come in, new people that are meant to be in your life to make you smile, make you laugh, make you enjoy every moment of your life. That is all part of the prosperity. It doesn't have to be just people like you've dealt with before, right? I feel like with prosperity you're going to have an abundance of people that truly resonate with your energy because you're shifting your energy to a higher frequency, to a higher spiritual path. You're telling the universe, I want to be happy. I want to be loved. I want to love. I want love around me. I don't want this negative energy in my life and in my circle. And as you release these people, and again, some people that you release, if they choose to do the healing, if they choose to love themselves, the universe can always bring you guys back together again, um, whether it's friendship or whatever. But the universe is going to say, listen, you're doing the work, but they're not. And they can't reap your benefits. And if they're in your energy, then you're going to struggle with how you do things because their energy is going to throw your energy out of balance. So, like, that's where the whole, you got to let them go. What people always say, let go, let God. Like, you got to let them go so that they can do the work that they need to do on the terms that they need to do them on at the pace that is meant for them. Okay, you need to focus on you. And this card is all about focusing on you so that you can continue to go in the direction that you need to go in. So this tower moment, whether you are going through it right now or it's on its way, it's a good thing. So when it happens, push through it. Push through it. Buckle down. Tell yourself it's not as bad as it looks. You're just looking at the surface. There's stuff underneath that you cannot see. Trust that it is a positive situation. Okay, it is going to work out for you. Yeah, you have regret, confusing. So 4 of Cups. We have a lot of cups coming out, and um, I feel like with this energy here, this isn't. This might have been your old energy. I feel like this was you, like your old energy. It doesn't feel like this is you anymore. You have apathy for yourself. And you know what? I feel like you're going to have apathy. You know what this card is? I can feel the message coming in now. You're going to have apathy for these people. You're going to understand that, that you're going to understand what they did. They're going to have regrets. They're going to have, they're going to feel like they missed the boat with you. They had a chance to do you right. They had a chance to treat you right. They had a chance to heal themselves and do right by themselves so that they could stay in alignment with their highest good, which in return would have stayed in alignment with your highest good. But they chose not to do this. The universe, the creator, source, even your spirit team, your ancestors, like they came in and was like, "Hey, hey, here, do this." And they chose to feel sorry for themselves. They chose to make excuses. They chose to not do the healing. And it's not even saying that these cups are bad because they're not knocked over. They're just sitting there. So they're not knocked over. But it's like they are so stubborn or they're so against doing their own inner healing that it pushed this division in this situation. And it's almost like you have apathy. You understand because the creator, the universe, your spirit team, they have come in and they have helped you to understand that this has to happen. This has to take place and they have to have a choice. And you can't force them to make a choice. You can only love them from where you are. But you can have apathy for them. You can understand that it's not their time. That that they have their own path to take. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you're going to make excuses for any kind of misbehavior. If whatever they do to you, this wrong, it's wrong, period. But this is just simply stating that you understand where they're at in their journey, on their path, and their decisions that they're making. So you're not going to get angry, you're not going to hold grudges, you're not going to allow this energy to pull you back down. You're not whatever happens here, you're not going to allow it to affect the love that you're building your new foundation on. You're not going to let any of this affect your new transformation of yourself. Instead, you're going to have clarity over why this has happened and the choices that needs to come out of this, whether it's job, boss, friends, family, whatever it is. You're going to understand and you're going to have apathy for this situation, but you're going to keep going forward. You're going to keep doing what you need to do. You're not going to allow their situation to stop you from doing what you're being called to do. They put themselves where they are, no different than you put yourself where you are. So you're not going to allow them to make you feel guilty for you choosing to do the work and love yourself and heal. You're not going to allow that. So it's not going to stop you. Whatever happens in this whole tower issue, it's not going to stop you from moving forward. And it's not going to stop you by planting hate or anger or upset or whatever. You're going to just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm past that now. I'm past the little petty drama. I'm past the little, secrets behind the back. I'm past the manipulation or the behaviors. Like whatever it is that comes at you, it might affect you at first, but then after you set with it, you're going to be like, you know what? It ain't worth it anymore. It ain't worth my time. It ain't worth my energy. It ain't worth my space. Like I am healed. I've done my work. I don't need this. And you're going to send it love, you're going to send the situation love, you're going to send the person love, but you're going to cut your cords, you're going to move your way, right? But you're not going to hold like negative feelings against them because you're going to know that that's just their thing. That's where they're at, that's what they're doing, that's what they got to deal with, no different than what you dealt with, right? Yes, you have emotional intelligence. Yeah, I was just saying that. Yeah, King of Cups, you've done the work. Like you really, when people wasn't tuning into you, when they wasn't like finding out what was going on with your life and blah blah blah, and you were just kind of like sitting there listening and socializing and not really like telling about yourself, which was a good thing that you didn't tell anybody and that you did the work silently. You have overcome a lot of this. You've worked through so much independently. You you've taken bad advice, you've taken love, misleading trauma, whatever you have been dealt You have taken that and you've sat with it, you've owned it, you've not ran from any of your shadows, and you have seen everything that you went through and how you managed to walk through everything, and you've taken everything as lessons. You've looked at every single thing and you've seen the lesson. You went back through and you looked at every single thing and you took the lesson from it all. And you also accepted the awareness that you can only show up for you. You can show up for your children, yes, because they're your children. But in all reality, other than your children, you can only really show up for you, because everybody else, they're adults and in this situation, and they have to show up for themselves. They have to make the choice to do the behaviors that they choose to do. They have to make the choice to, show up and be the better person, right? They have discernment. You can't decide how other people act or participate in something. You can only do your own. So you have gotten to the point where you're able to balance all of that within you, and you're able to see it very clearly in everything outside of you. And therefore, you understand unconscious motives. You understand people's choices and their behaviors and why they do certain things. You might even understand it faster than what they even do, because you have the intelligence. You have done the deeper work. So what you see on the surface, whatever's going on the surface, you're already deciphering it and looking deeper without the person even understanding themselves why they're doing this, this, and this. But you're already down at the bottom. You're already working through it, saying, okay, this person has these problems. This person did this because of this. And you're not making excuses for the person. There's a difference between knowing what somebody is doing and why they're doing it versus knowing what somebody is doing and making excuses so that they can continue doing it. There's a difference, so don't get that confused. You're not making excuses for anybody. All you're simply doing is understanding why people are choosing to do certain things and act in certain ways and make certain decisions. You've been there. You've experienced so much that you have a deeper understanding of people's behaviors, like a psychological understanding, right? So you're ready, like you're good to go with this whole situation. You have definitely worked in so many ways that you have been able to truly transform, and no one can step in and tell you who you are now, because they have no way of even knowing who you are, because you've completely transformed so much. And you're going to come out of whatever comes at you. No matter what comes at you, you're going to come out of it. So yeah, your closing card is the Hermit. So soul searching, spiritual enlightenment. Yeah, you definitely had this hermit energy. You for sure. And for a lot of you, you are the hermit, but you're walking around as the hermit. People can throw stuff at you. Stuff can be going on. Do you ever see those like memes where like the person's walking and like behind them like buildings are exploding and people are screaming and hollering, and the person's just like do 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 do. That is you. You are the walking hermit right now. Like you have found inner peace, inner balance, and awareness to where when something happens, the first thing you do is observe versus react. You kind of go into that observant energy. You have learned to connect to your inner self in such a way that you have a relationship with your own inner being. And because of that inner relationship that you have, you're able to take control over outcomes and situations and your views on things. And if something doesn't serve you, it's like you could just walk away from it. You can close the door or walk away from it. If something is not the right frequency or energy or vibration for you, you can disassociate from it. You don't allow things to take your energy anymore. You don't allow time to take up your mind and preoccupy your thoughts. you make sure that you choose what you're going to think about, what you're going to deal with, how you're going to feel, right? You have definitely taken the time to set with yourself to the point where you have become like your own best friend. Like you have went in so many different aspects of yourself that you've learned how to call back your power and be your true self. And this hermit energy, it's going to help you with all of this, with this whole situation that you're going through. It's going to help you to like really work through it with flow. That like maybe before you might have taken months to get over something, right? This is going to be like hours, days, minutes. You know, in some of you guys' situation, somebody gonna be like, I don't want to talk to you no more. Okay, have a great life. And like minutes, seconds, you're not even gonna care. It's gonna be out of your energy. You're going to release it and it's going to be out of your energy because you have gained that much control. You have been able to learn how to release things quickly, how to disassociate and connect cord ties to certain energies or people or situations quickly. And because of that, you have more control over your life now and your path and your calling and your choices. Right. So I hope this has helped you. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.